28 March 2024. Table of Contents. GS3 ILO's India Employment Report 2024. India's Employment Crisis. Facts for Prelims. Preventive Detention. Reports in News. Poem 3. Black Carbon. ICG Ship Samutra Pahirdar. Operation Shankalp. Mapping Vietnam's Mekong Delta. ILO's India Employment Report 2024. India's Employment Crisis. GS Paper 3. Syllabus Indian Economy, Employment, Unemployment. Context. ILO's India Employment Report 2024 examines young employment challenges and trends over 2 decades, drawing from various data sources. Key findings of the report are: positive findings. Women saw a rise in self-employment and unpaid family work. Labor productivity increased consistently alongside technological progress. Female labor market participation rates increased, especially in rural areas. There is a gradual shift from agriculture to non-farm sectors in the workforce. However, the transition slowed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Employment blues. Labor participation for various sections increased slightly in 2022 compared to 2019, but was still low vis-a-vis 2000. Men, women, rural, urban. Negative findings. Youth unemployment increased nearly threefold, from 5.7% in 2000 to 17.5% in 2019. Employment growth remained stagnant until 2019, then started to rise. Employment is dominated by the informal sector, about 82%. Self-employment and casual employment are predominant. Wages have remained low and stagnant or decreased. Modest wage rises for casual laborers were observed, while real wages for regular workers stagnated or declined. India is expected to have a migration rate of around 40% by 2030, with an urban population of about 607 million. Contractualization has increased. Contractualization has risen, with only a small fraction of workers under long-term contracts. The proportion of regular employment increased post-2000 but declined after 2018. Livelihood insecurities are widespread, especially in the non-agricultural organized sector, with limited social protection coverage. Despite India's youthful workforce being a democratic asset, many lack essential skills, with 75% unable to send emails with attachments, 60% unable to copy and paste files, 60% unable to copy and paste files, and 90% unable to use spreadsheets for mathematical formulas. Education. While overall educational levels have risen, gaps remain across social groups, economic backgrounds, and regions. Only a small percentage of youths have formal vocational training, with less than 4% accessing it. Recommendations. Make protection and growth more employment intensive. Policy measures. Integrate the employment creation agenda with macroeconomic policies. Prioritize labor-intensive manufacturing. Focus on micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. Increase agricultural productivity and promote entrepreneurship. Invest in the green and blue economics. Improve the quality of jobs. invest in sectors like care and the digital economy, develop inclusive urbanization and migration policies, ensure strong labor policies and regulations, overcome labor market inequalities, boost women's participation with quality work policies, bridge the digital divide, enhance skills training for social and economic inclusion, create a non-discriminatory labor market, implement regional level policies to reduce inequalities, enhance the effectiveness of skills training, strengthen the role of skills development, facilitate youth's connection with job opportunities, address unfilled vacancies in the public sector transparently, bridge knowledge deficits on labor market patterns, develop reliable labor market statistics on emerging job forms, utilize implementation and monitoring data effectively for policies. Types of employment in India, causes of high unemployment rate, social impact of unemployment in India, measures to address unemployment. Okay, government's initiatives related to employment, support for marginalized individuals for livelihood and enterprise. Smile. PM Daksh, Pradhan Mantri Daksha Aur Kushalta Sampan Kitgrahi. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act MG Nareha, Pradhan Mantri Kushal Vikas Yojana PMKVY, Startup India Scheme, Indira Gandhi Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme, Rajasthan. About India Employment Report 2024. The India Employment Report 2024 is the third in the series of regular publications by the Institute for Human Development together with the International Labour Organization on labor and employment issues. The report is primarily based on analysis of data from the National Sample Surveys and the Periodic Labour Force Surveys between 2000 and 2022, with a postscript for 2023. Other sources of data include the Annual Survey of Industries, the National Account Statistics and the Reserve Bank of India KLEMS database. Mains link. Most of the unemployment in India is structural in nature. Examine the methodology adapted to compute unemployment in the country and suggest improvements. Prelims link. Disguised unemployment generally means the marginal productivity of labor is zero. Preventive detection. Facts for prelims. Preventive detention. Context. The Supreme Court emphasized the need to prevent the arbitrary use of preventive detention powers, overturning a Telangana High Court decision. It clarified that preventive detention is meant to avert future harm, not as a form of punishment, and should be based on careful consideration of facts. The court highlighted that preventive detention is a severe measure and should not be invoked routinely or arbitrarily by authorities. The Supreme Court also underscored that the grounds for detention must be clearly stated. The decision should be based on a thorough examination of relevant facts. About preventive detention. Preventive detention entails the detention of an individual without a trial or conviction by a court, aiming to prevent future offences rather than punish past ones. Governments enact preventive detention laws to ensure public safety and maintain social order. In India, Article 22 of the Constitution provides safeguards for individuals detained under such laws. It limits the duration of preventive detention to 3 months unless an advisory board approves an extension. The detainee has the right to know the grounds of detention and make representations against it. Parliament has exclusive power to enact preventive detention laws for defense, foreign affairs or national security reasons. while both parliament and state legislatures can enact laws for maintaining public order or essential services. Various laws in India, such as the National Security Act (NSA) and the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act (UAPA), allow for preventive detention for up to 12 months without formal charges. The periodic review by an advisory board. Reports in news. Report title: Enabling a Circular Economy in India's Solar Industry, Assessing the Solar Waste Quantum. Key points. Developed by MNRE, Ministry of, MNRE and CEEW under Niti Aayog's Action Plan for CE Solar Panels. India's 66.7 GW capacity, financial year 23, has generated about 100 KT of waste, increasing to 600 KT by 2030. Solar wastes contain critical minerals like silicon, copper, etc., toxic metals like lead and cadmium, and metals with high economic value. Recommendations include database maintenance, recycling promotion, and technology innovation. Unicorn 2.0, adding the next trillion report, released by the Confederation of Indian Industry (CII), assesses Unicorn 1.0 impact and outlines Unicorn 2.0 vision. Unicorn 1.0 2010 to 2023 contributed 10 to 15% of GDP, 15% to GDP, had 100 plus unicorns, and improved inclusivity and sustainability. Unicorn 2.0 2024 to 35 aims to add $1 trillion to GDP with shifts like leading startups, innovation focus, and governance improvements. Global Trade Update, released by UNCTAD, reports a 14% rise in services exports and a 6% decline in goods export from India in 2023. Forecasts rebound in international trade in 2024. Warns of logistical challenges like shipping disruptions in the Red Sea, Black Sea, etc., affecting costs and supply chains. Poem 3. ISRO achieved a significant milestone with its PSLV orbital experimental module, Poem 3, successfully re-entering Earth's atmosphere without leaving any debris in orbit. This achievement, following the PSLV C-58 or EXPOSAT mission, is termed another milestone by ISRO. The operation involved converting the final stage of the PSLV into Poem 3 and deorbiting it from 650 km to 350 km altitude. This expedited re-entry process aimed to minimize risks associated with accidental breakups. Poem 3 carried 9 experimental payloads, facilitating technology demonstrations and scientific experiments. This initiative aims to safeguard orbital environments, ensuring their viability for current and future space missions. Black carbon. Facts for prelims. Context. Black carbon emitted from incomplete combustion of biomass and fossil fuels is a significant contributor to global warming and poses health risks. In India, the residential sector is the largest source of black carbon emissions. Prioritizing black carbon reduction aligns with India's global commitments to decarbonization and sustainable development goals, potentially preventing thousands of premature deaths annually. Black carbon is a compound of fine particulate matter (PM) air pollution. It's also known as soot. Black carbon is a light absorbing particle that contributes to climate change by releasing heat energy into the atmosphere. It's the second most important contributor to global warming and is considered a short-lived climate pollutant. Black carbon is formed by the incomplete combustion of wood and fossil fuels. The process also creates carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and volatile organic compounds. Black carbon particles can also settle on the surface of snow and ice, accelerating its melting. ICG ship Samutra Bahirdar recently arrived at Manila Bay, Philippines as part of an overseas deployment to Asian countries. This deployment aims to showcase the Indian Coast Guard's marine pollution response capabilities and strengthen bilateral cooperation with the Philippine Coast Guard. Built by ABG Shipyard, Surat, it is stationed on the east coast of India in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. Equipped with advanced pollution response and controlled equipment, including containment and recovery devices for oil spills, it plays a vital role in safeguarding marine environments. Additionally, it boasts special features like integrated platform management and power systems, along with the capability to operate one twin-engine ALH or Cheetah helicopter. Operation Shanghal. Context: launched by the Indian Navy in December 2023, the operation completed 100 days, operating in key areas including the Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, and off the east coast of Somalia. Its objective is to safeguard India's maritime interests, counter maritime threats, combat piracy resurgence, and curb narcotics trade in the Indian Ocean region. Vietnam's Mekong Delta. Context: rising saltwater levels threaten Vietnam's Mekong Delta, causing nearly $3 billion in annual crop losses. The region, known as Vietnam's Rice Bowl, faces intensified saltwater intrusion due to rising sea levels, droughts, and other factors. This could result in significant damage to agriculture, particularly in the southern Ca Mau province. About the Mekong Delta in Vietnam. It is a wet coastal area of over 40,500 square kilometers, where the Mekong River meets the sea. It's a vital agricultural and aquacultural region with a history dating back to the 4th century BC. The area is renowned for its biodiversity, but is also vulnerable to climate change and related issues like sea level rise and saltwater intrusion. About the Mekong River. It is one of the world's longest flows through East and Southeast Asia, spanning 4,909 kilometers, originating from the Tibetan Plateau. It traverses 6 countries before reaching southern Vietnam. Its seasonal fluctuations and natural obstacles hinder navigation, yet it remains a crucial trade route. Mekong-Ganga Cooperation Mechanism. Okay. Tibetan Plateau, Mekong, China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. Mekong.